Hello. Thank you very much for the opportunity you've given me to talk to you today. My name is Jeff Murray. I grew up in Wisconsin and came to Minnesota in 1978 to attend the University of Minnesota in the engineering school. From there, I ended up in industry for the next 35 years. I'm here today to give you my advice and thoughts on leadership. My hope is that you will listen to my advice and see how it might get you thinking about what you can do to be deliberate in your thinking about being a stronger leader today. All leadership journeys are different. Yours will be different than mine, and I encourage you to find others to talk to about their journey. Before we get too far, please open a copy of the BestPrep Leadership PowerPoint slides. They look like this. You probably have them, or you can get them on the website. They should be available. And hopefully you've had a classroom discussion already about this short PowerPoint slide deck to get you thinking about what leadership is and places that you can start practicing today. When I look back on my leadership experiences, for me, the beginnings of actual leadership started in high school, just where many of you are today. I didn't really know it then, but as I connected the dots backwards through the years, I could see that my leadership practices and lessons started in those early years in high school, both in the classroom and through sports. I have a very simple model of leadership. 3 steps. Step 1, know thyself. And we're going to talk mostly about that in this video. Second, know others. By that I mean honor those people around you and know how they can help. And then the last step is to apply yourself and others in the moment. And by that I mean step forward into the opportunities that are right in front of you now. Opportunities can be simple things like helping others today, or they could be bigger things like leading a team to finish a project in school, or leading a sports team through the season, or leading a group through a crisis. I hope you hear this often in life. Leadership is not a title. Anyone at any level at any time can emerge as a leader. Leadership just means you're willing and able to act, and others are willing to follow your lead to deliver a result. Leadership will require a wide range of skills, traits, and attitude to want to be responsible. Think about that word responsible for a moment. Break it into its 2 parts. Response, able. Have you ever thought about responsibility in this way before? Have a look at slide 4 in the BestPrep Leadership PowerPoint deck entitled Key Leadership Traits. You will see those words: accountability, responsibility, initiative, enthusiasm. Well, how do you know if you have this or not? That gets back to my first point of leadership: know thyself. Right now in your life, you are getting many experiences to rub up against the world. You can probably recall experiences that went really well while working with others, and other experiences where you wonder, where did I go wrong? This is normal. And if you are already thinking about this contrast, you are well on your way to this concept of know thyself. In my working career, I had many opportunities to learn more about myself through being invited to leadership and management training, taking self-diagnostic surveys to help unravel how I'm wired, and then practicing with employees to see what worked and what did not work. My advice to all of you now is that if anyone offers you this type of opportunity to learn more about yourself now or in the future, say yes. Each time you take a survey or get a chance to be on a team, you learn more about yourself and others that are working with you. These methods are getting more and more popular today. One of my favorite ones is Gallup Strength Finder, sometimes shortened to Strengths. This is the little book that you can get, and it's pretty thin. It's an easy read, and in fact, it's even easier than that. When you buy the book, there's a survey that you take, and the survey results will deliver your top 5 strengths. So you don't even have to read the whole book. You just read the little chapters on those top 5 talent themes, they call them. Sometimes I'll interchange strengths and talent themes. To me, one and the same. The Gallup work helps identify your talents. The more you practice your talents, it turns into a strength. I've been using this method for the past 15 years with great success. What I like about Strength Finder system is the idea that you can identify those talents that you can improve with practice into strengths. Think about this much like someone who is gifted at playing a musical instrument, or a student who has a knack for a school subject like English or physics, or perhaps a person who's gifted in a sport. They have talent, and then with practice they become experts in these subjects or these fields. If you take that survey I mentioned in the book, and I'll show you, there's another way you can do it, it will return your top 5 talent themes. The Gallup body of work includes 34 talent themes, so don't worry, there are more than enough to cover everyone. And no single person will have the top 5 themes in the same order. The chances of that happening are very slim. These top 5 talents will resonate with you, and they will feel right and validate what you already suspected to be true about yourself. But the really important part of the research is this. You are really good at just a few things, and likely just average or not so good at many others. They emphasize that you should spend all your time working on improving your talents into strengths, and not spend so much time improving weak areas. As hard as you work to get better at weaknesses, it might frustrate you, and you may not improve significantly in that area. It's much easier to focus on your areas of talent, where you strengthen those areas and be a leader using those unique strengths. Well, my top 5 themes are learner, intellection, relator, responsibility, and arranger. The more I think about that, the way these express themselves to me is I've found that daily learning and curiosity are the key in my life. I like to take in a lot of information, data, think about it, simplify it, then chart a path forward to solve a problem. Through the process of doing this, I'm constantly learning about new things. Since I've been practicing this theme almost every day my entire life, this has turned into my most important strength, learner. And you can actually get even more things on specific themes of those 34 themes that will give you little action planning tools and things to be aware of. You know, what's great about learner, maybe what's not so great about learner. And let me tell you about that. I've also learned that my strengths really need to be complemented by others around me to move from just thinking about the problem, which I get wrapped up in, and trying to distill it down to actually get going on solving the problem. I've been accused on more than one occasion of taking too long to get to action on a problem. So here's an example of where I have learned that through time that I need to surround myself with others who have the strengths of what I call wanting to get started. They can hardly wait to get started. Themes like achiever, discipline, focus as part of their top 5. They'll make sure the group moves forward. Remember my second point, know others. To be the best team possible, we can use the strengths of others where we might have weaknesses. Now, if you don't have $20 readily available, if that's out of your reach, there's another exercise you can do as a team at school or on your own the next time you're with some people. I want you to take out a sheet of paper, and what you do is you put your name on the top, and then on the left-hand side you write strengths I see, and on the right-hand side you write strengths that others see. And you're around a table, maybe a round table. What you do is you get a timer out, and you spend 60 seconds on each step. So the first 60 seconds you write down the strengths you see on the left side of the paper, and then timer goes off, you pass the paper to your right, and the person next to you then writes in the right hand column strengths they see about you, and they get a minute to do that. And you keep doing that, passing the paper to your right, until your original paper comes back to you. And then what you'll see at that, it's pretty cool. I did this a couple of years ago, and here's mine. So again, it's the strengths I see, and then what everybody else saw about me, including actually going on the back of the sheet. And then what I did is I took a little bit of time to see what I already knew. There were a lot of common themes in there, but what was sort of cool is there were some surprises in there, things that I didn't see in myself that others could see in me. So you can take some time after you've done that exercise, take some time in the weeks after to read what others saw as your strengths. Some of them might be repeated, some might be what you already know about yourself, but look for those little gentle surprises that you might not be aware of. And think about how those strengths might help you in future leadership opportunities. Well, let me start to wrap up this short video on leadership. Remember, my model is pretty simple. It's just 3 steps. Know thyself, know others, and find the opportunity to fill a gap that exists or a problem that's right in front of you and start leading through that. We spent most of the time talking about that first one. To me, this is critically important for you to understand yourself first. Knowing your strengths, what kind of leader you develop yourself into is really important. Once you are comfortable with that, practice those strengths, and it will become clear to you where you can use the help of others to fill in strength gaps that you have under any situation. You can stay in your areas of strength and not have to work in your areas of weakness. Let others with those strengths work there for you. Relying on other strengths will naturally lead you to delegate, and that's a great thing as a leader, to be able to trust others to do what they're good at doing in an area where you're missing, or it's just not a natural strength area for you. Then everyone on the team can use their strengths. Think about all the places you interact with people now in high school, or maybe you volunteer in a nonprofit, or perhaps one day you're going to be in business like I was. All these places rely on teams for success. Have a look at slide 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 in the BestPrep PowerPoint slide deck and see how knowing yourself and the team members you are with can make breakthrough teams that can deliver amazing results. So pick the most important opportunity or problem that is before you, get some practice, get the team, and get to work. Be prepared to be amazed. I want to leave you with a reference list of authors and books that had meaning to me during my leadership journey. Remember, my top strength is learner, so I was always reading, trying to find the right models and ideas to hone my leadership style. If you go out there, you'll find thousands of leadership articles, stories, podcasts, TED Talks, and even role models in your community. Learn about those that work for your style. Don't just rely on my short list. But here's the list and a few books. Again, they are dated, but I believe you'll find that not much changes through time. The messages remain similar. So here's a book from, it's closing on almost 100 years old, by Dale Carnegie. I love this book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. I noticed in, I think it's slide 3, a few of the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey were listed in there, at least 3 of them. I had this training in the 90s and I still use it today. I love the 7 Habits. And then one guy I really liked from Harvard University is this guy, John Cotter. It's what leaders really do. And then, since leadership is a lot about change management, he has another book that's full of stories about how leaders have changed organizations, and he calls it The Heart of Change. So it's filled with stories about his 8-step model of leadership. And then you can see over here on the wall, it kind of listed those. You can see them, maybe stop the video and write them down, but the Stephen Covey book, the 2 John Cotter books, and then the Dale Carnegie book. So just a very short list. Again, use the style that works for you, and that will get you going. I'd like to end with this. I heard a quote once that went something like this: "The world will always reward talent." We see this in the media all the time for famous people and for everyday people across the globe. I believe this is true for skills of leadership as well. The world will reward your talent. You just got to jump in, use your strengths, and get going. Good luck in your leadership journey. Discover where your strengths are. Jump into that opportunity that's in front of you. And being an authentic leader with the strengths you've been given is a rewarding way to spend your days. Thank you.